Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Burning Bird Studios. My name is Andy Stover, and you're listening to the Next Big Thing podcast. This week, we have a great episode. Our featured guest is Siggie, the Vintage Man. We sit down with Siggie a little later in the episode and catch up with him, see what he's been up to. He's got some great stories. You don't want to miss that, so stick around for that. We're also going to hear a song from him titled 300 Steps. Very eager to share that for you. It's a great song. We're also going to hear one of my original songs. I haven't shared one of my original songs in a few episodes, so I thought I'd go ahead and stroke my ego and play one of those for you. We're going to hear My World. We also get into another Tracking with Trav, your guys' favorite segment. This week's Tracking with Trav, we hear from a band called Miles Ingle. And their song is Dancing Shoes, and it's really good, man. I'm rooting for those guys. But before we do the Tracking with Trav, we started something last week called Stump the Chump. I love calling it Stump the Chump because we're calling Travis a chump. But anyway, it's Stump the Chump. Travis is a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan. He has been his whole life. He saw his first Ozzy concert at 12 years old when his mom took him. I love imagining that. I can see little Travis mosh pitting at Ozzy at 12 years old with his mom. It's a very funny picture. But the idea there is you guys have been emailing me Ozzy Osbourne questions that only I see. Travis isn't seeing them. He doesn't have time to get on Google and look it up. This is legit. You send those questions to me. Any question regarding Ozzy Osbourne at all, and we're going to see if Travis knows the answer. Last week was our first one, and he nailed it. Of course, he nailed it. The question came from Sean out of Florida. It was, what year did Ozzy and Sharon get married? And Travis nailed it. Not only did he nail it, he gave us some other trivia on top of it to rub it in a little bit. So if you've got an Ozzy Osbourne question that you think you can stump Travis with, go ahead and email that to me at andy.thenextbigthing, and that's at gmail.com. And I'll be sure to try to stump the chump with that. I'll also give you a shout out. Like your name and where you're from as well. And let's stump that chump. But first of all, let's go ahead and get into this episode. We're going to hear this song 300 Steps from Siggie the Vintage Man, and then we'll be right back.
Growing up in a small state by the land and the sea, everyone knows each other in this community. Small post office, small houses, all neatly laid on a block. If you want some peace and quiet, then this surely is your spot. Place I sing about has been since I was a child. It's a place where the locals go when they just wanna get wild. Well, 300 steps down, 600 back. Took a detour, must have been the jack. Took a left when should've gone right. Ended back at the news that night. Throughout the years when I lived far, far away, when I'd visit all my kin, I'd go there every day. I became a real regular once or twice a year. They had Narragansett on tap, it was my favorite beer. I see my childhood friends all lined up at the bar. The news was so darn close, I never drove my car. Well, 300 steps down, 600 back. Took a detour, must have been the jack. Took a left when should've gone right. Ended back at the news at night. When I left this state, I knew I wouldn't be back in a while. But when I was there, we shared a beer and a smile. My parents are gone and the house has been sold. Seems it happened fast. I knew that Don Crogan said really wouldn't lie. As I drank my last beer there, I knew we're getting old. Better finish that 4-1 while it's really cold. We're 300 steps down, 600 back. Took a detour, must have been the jack. Took a left when I should have gone right. Ended back at the Muse at night. And I raised my glass to everyone for the very last.
Alright guys, that was Siggie the Vintage Man, our featured guest this week with his song 300 Steps. Thank you Siggie for that. That song was amazing and I hope everybody else enjoyed it. I'm going to be leaving his links in the episode description. That way it's easy for the listeners to go and find the rest of his music fairly easily. He has a huge catalog. That song 300 Steps is actually off an album he's just finished called 300 Steps. So you want to make sure you go and check that out, show him some support, let him know you heard him here on The Next Big Thing. But moving on for now, we're going to hear from him a little later, but moving on for now, I want to stroke my ego. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my latest album that's been out for about a month now. It's been doing pretty good. A lot of you guys have been buying it up and streaming it and listening to it and leaving me great comments, and I appreciate the hell out of that. This song is called My World, and it's off the self-titled album, My World. Go to andystover.com, and you can listen to the whole album if you're into it. Also, if you like the show and you like it enough, you want to show your support, the best way to do that is go to andystover.com and buy one of the 2 albums I have up there. Or if you don't want the whole album, you can buy 1 or 2 of your favorite singles, no problem. They're like $1. But that's the best way to show your support for the show. Also, if you're an artist or a band and you would like to get on the show and have some of your music get in front of a new audience, maybe get some new fans, grab some exposure, you can do that. Go to our Facebook page under services. Look at the new promotional services we offer. They're priced very, very low. Me as an artist myself, I understand how money can get tight as an artist. We're not very rich. And that's why I wanted to start this whole podcast. I wanted to create an avenue for us artists to get some exposure, get in front of some new fans, help each other out, but do it at a price that isn't going to break the bank. I mean, all these other places charge you so much, and you don't even get that much exposure. But, I've been on the receiving team of that and had to learn my lesson the hard way. But that's why I wanted to create this whole podcast, and it's working so far. So if you want to get on the show, go to our Facebook page. Check out those services. Email me, andy.thenextbigthing@gmail.com, and we'll get it going for you guys. But for now, here's My World by Andy Stover. See ya.
Just go. You never give me the time before you start to unload.
Alright guys, again, that was my song called My World, and that's off an album I just finished entitled My World. I'm super proud of that album. Every note you hear from every instrument you hear is me. I did everything myself completely, from writing the songs to playing every instrument you hear to doing my own recording, mixing, and mastering, and it's my little baby, and I'm so proud of it. So show your support. Go over to andystover.com. You can listen to the rest of that album. I'd love it if you did. Feel free to buy that album, or I have another album on there. It's the first album I ever put out called Part of Me. Or if you'd like, you can just buy a couple of the singles off of one of the albums. No problem. Best way to show your support for the show, though. But let's get moving on. Still, we got a lot of episode left. Let's go ahead and get into a little Tracking with Trav. Get a little fun going on in here. Let me go get him, guys. Okay, folks, here he is, Travis himself.
Hello, how are you doing today, folks?
I'm doing well. How are you, bud?
Not too bad at all.
Guys, I'm worried about this segment because I literally had to go wake him up out of the bed. He's probably going to be grumpy as hell.
You know how that goes.
Before we get into the Tracking with Trav.
Okay,
don't forget about the old Stump the Chump. He
Stump
absolutely hates
the
that name.
Chump.
I love it. Last week we had a question from a Sean out of Florida. Of course, Travis nailed it and gave us some extra credit.
Nailed it.
But we're going to keep that going. The idea is, just in case you're just tuning in and you might not know, Travis is a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan. You might have seen all the memorabilia and things on the walls in the studio here. But he has been a fan ever since his mom took him to his first Ozzy Osbourne concert at 12 years old.
Yeah.
I can picture little 12-year-old Travis mosh pitting around with his mom. Yeah! But anyway, so the idea here is he prides himself on being a good Ozzy fan and knowing tons of trivia.
I know just a little bit.
A little bit too much sometimes. But anyway, the idea is you guys are writing in questions to try to stump Travis with Ozzy questions.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are sending those questions to my email so Travis doesn't know what they are. That way he doesn't have a chance to jump on Google and cheat and all that crap.
Google.
Not that he would do that. But anyway.
Never.
Okay, so he got the first one right. Now here's number 2, guys.
Bring it on.
So this week's question comes from a Zach Davidson from Cincinnati, Ohio. Zach, thank you for watching.
Cincinnati, not
Thank
too
you for
far
tuning
away.
in. Not far at all. Okay, so Zach asked for Travis. Are you ready?
Bring it on.
What year did Ozzy Osbourne bring on Motley Crue to open for him? What year did they first tour together?
Let's see here. That's an easy one.
Easy one?
Because I do specialize in early 80s Ozzy.
He does.
Trivia and memorabilia. That was in 1984, folks.
Bam! He nailed it. He nailed it, Zach.
They were brought on that Ozzy's tour at the time was Bark at the Moon.
Extra credit
and
again.
They were brought into as his support act, his opening act. So Motley Crue was very excited to join Ozzy on that tour because it was their big breakthrough.
What an amazing show that would have been.
But I was just a little too young, and the reason I know that date so well is because Ozzy Osbourne, for one's my favorite, Motley Crue's another favorite of mine, and I was just too young to attend that tour in '84. I would have only been about 5 years old. So that would have been an awesome show.
What was Ozzy Osbourne's What was Ozzy Osbourne's first solo album that he put out after he was done with Black Sabbath?
Blizzard of Oz.
Blizzard of Oz. Is that the one that you always tell me about when he would still do it in like old movie theaters and would come down on this cool little throne and just the theatricals of the show were just...
the Ultimate Sin
Is that the
tour,
one?
He came down in the big green monster.
Oh, the monster, that's what it was. I would love to have seen
Ozzy's
something like
stage
that.
shows are always awesome, especially
Throwing
in
buckets
the
of
80s.
water on the crowd
All the
himself.
time,
Does he
yes.
still do that?
The water, yes. It used to be raw meat and stuff of that nature for the
Well, no wonder
Diary
you
of a
like it, then.
Madman. But yes, the answer to that question is 1984.
All right, Zach Davidson from Cincinnati, Ohio. Thanks for playing.
That was a great question.
Travis stumped us again, but we enjoyed the hell out of that. Let's stump this man.
Please stump me.
Keep sending those questions to me, guys. Anything Ozzy Osbourne related. I will tell you that Travis he knows all about Ozzy.
I
but
know a lot, but I don't know everything.
He knows, he specializes in like early Ozzy stuff. So you might want to get something a little later to try to stump him. Maybe, I don't know.
Possibly.
But thank you, Zach, again. Send those questions to me so Travis doesn't see them at andy.thenextbigthing@gmail.com.
We love you all.
And we will stump the Travmeister.
All right.
All right, let's get into Tracking with Trav.
Let's do it.
Okay, we can't stump you there. Maybe we'll stump you here.
Probably.
Okay, so this week it's a band again.
A Band-Aid.
They're called Miles Ingle.
Like Laura Ingalls Wilder.
That's kind of what I thought of too. But Miles Ingle, we got Blue on Tracking with Trav today. Our little kitty cat Blue came to join us today.
Yes.
But it's Miles Ingle, okay? And it's Miles/Ingle, and that name comes
Inglewood.
from that name comes from it's the last name of each of the members. There's two members there, so
interesting.
Let's see. There's Wally Miles, he's the vocalist, and then V Ingle is the guitar player. So they put their names together, and Miles Ingles to get their name.
Sweet.
The name of the song is called "Dancing Shoes,"
Dancing Shoe.
and this is one of my favorite songs so far that have been on Tracking with Trav.
All right.
Of course, I've got to hear it before Travis hasn't, but
Sweet.
I really like this song. But we all know that my opinion does not matter.
At times it does.
I like it because it's a lot different than anything else we've heard so far, and I do want to clear something up.
Please do.
When we do Tracking with Trav and we say that a song rocks, that does not mean that it has to be distorted guitars thrashing
Absolutely
around
not.
and rocking. A lot of people are getting confused with that. You don't have to be a rock group to submit to be on Tracking with Trav.
Any genre is welcome.
What rock means, Travis just thinks the song
Anything
was
that gets
awesome.
me rocking.
He just thought the song was kick-ass, man.
Yes.
All right, so I wanted to clear that up. But this is Miles Ingle with Dancing Shoes. Now, these guys consider themselves to be rock,
Okay.
space jazz,
Space Jazz.
and future puke. I don't know what the hell that is.
I hope that doesn't mean in the future I'm gonna puke.
But that's what they go for on their genres there. So yeah, I know. But let's get right into it.
All right.
Let's hear this genre of future puke.
Fire away.
See you in the flip.
Dancing shoes, we're going out tonight.
Okay, folks.
I put my dancing shoes on tonight.
My dancing shoes. Let me
Wow.
say something.
Go ahead.
Let me say something.
Say it loud.
First of all, I already said that I think the song's amazing, but listen to this.
Whoa.
I think that was, and I heard this the very first freaking time I heard it, and this is what it sounds like. To me, it's 80s pop
Definitely.
meets
Meats.
the singer from Disturbed. Especially in the
Wow.
yeah, especially in the chorus there. You know that song you did, the Sounds of Silence?
Yes.
Identical to the lead singer of Miles Ingle.
Well,
very well done.
It reminded me of like The Cure from the 80s.
Sure. Sure.
But anyway, the intro of the song was nice. I like
Freaking
that.
awesome is what it was.
Rocking around, rocking and rolling. I love the sound of the singer's voice.
Me too.
When he
Very
was hitting
unique.
those high notes, though, I wonder if they had to bring out the old ball vice.
Whoa! You and the ball bites every time.
Yes, it's not a very savory place to be.
But, like I said, during the freaking chorus, it sounded just like the singer
My dancing
from
shoes.
Disturbed, which is a very good thing.
Bum,
Now, I was reading their bio a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it says, this is all it says, and I love this when bands do this, but this is all it says. There's retro, there's modern, and then there's Miles Ingle.
Miles Ingle.
And that is, like, at first I was like, why would you only put that as your bio? Then you listen to him, and it's like, that's why.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, it transported me right back to the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
It was
In a good way.
Groovable.
Do you have any critiques?
Incidentally, I am an 80s fan.
That's right, he is a huge 80s fan, so you have that going for you here.
You know, as far as critiques go,
You said the ball vice.
I liked it, so it's hard for me to come up with a critique because I love the 80s music.
Okay, so
You
let's
know,
get to
I
this
liked
then.
the lyrics. I liked it.
I like the lyrics, I liked it. He liked it, folks.
I liked it. You stumped me this time.
Guys,
I'm
we didn't get him.
speechless.
Zach, we didn't get him on the Stump the Chump, but I think that Miles Ingle had your back here, and they got him on
I
Tracking With
definitely
Trav.
feel like a chump this time if I can't even find something funny to say.
Well, let's get to it then. If you can't say nothing, then don't say nothing at all.
I guess I only need to say one
All
or
right,
two
let me ask
words.
you this, okay? So for this week, it's Tracking with Trav, Miles Ingle, Dancing Shoes. Did this song rock, or did this song not rock?
Well, I'll have to tell you, after listening to that song, I'm going to go to the closet and pull out my dancing shoes because this song rocks!
Yes!
Yes, we love it.
Thank you, Travis.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you very much.
This season, we have had 3, count it, uno, dos,
My
tres,
dancing shoes.
rocks out of Tracking with Travis. Good job. Very good job. That might not seem like too big of a deal to you guys, Miles and Ingle, but around here, that is
it's a big deal.
huge deal. Keep up the good work.
Yes, keep on rocking and rolling.
And keep in contact with us. Thank you for being good sports about it. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on. Next, I have a interview
With
Siggie the Vintage Man.
Siggie the Vintage Man.
Yes, Siggie the Vintage Man. He is a funny dude. You guys are going to enjoy this. Travis, you want to stick around and hear it?
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
All right, well, let me go get Siggie, and we'll see you guys on the flip.
Next time.
I own too many timeshares. I gave it the office, and I'm a big fan of the Vintage Man, baby.
Siggie the Vintage Man, how the hell are you? Give me a full report.
I'm doing just fabulous, man. I woke up this morning, I could stand up straight.
Today's guest joins us all the way from Seattle, Washington. He is a musician, he is a storyteller, he is an entertainer, and he is just a all-around fun guy. Siggie the Vintage Man, thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure, brother. Glad to be on.
Very glad to have you on. Listeners, as you can tell, he's a character and just a fun guy to be around. And that's probably why you have so many shows coming up. Everybody can't get enough of the Vintage Man.
Yeah, I don't know. People like me.
I tell you what, man, I want to know, right off the bat, what's behind the name, buddy? How did you come up with Siggie the Vintage Man?
Okay, So I tell you, so everybody should know it's Siggie, Siggie. Lots of people will say Siggie, Siggy, and Ziggy. One person come up to me and says, "Yeah, did you get named after Ziggy Marley?" I says, "Well, not quite, but that's all. That's cool." Yeah. That was last year. That's pretty funny. Ziggy, he came up. I go, "Well, it's Siggy, but you can call me whatever you want."
Right.
Putting the tips in the jar, baby. You call me whatever.
Call me whatever the hell you want.
That's right. That's exactly right. So my last name is Signorelli, and so always, as a kid growing up, everybody called me Siggy. That's what we do back on the East Coast. Everybody's got a name. The 300-pound guy, we called him Tiny.
Sure.
Right? The little 5'2", 110-pound guy, we called him, Big Tony.
Big Tommy,
so,
yes.
we always had the names back on the East Coast. So anyway, so they used to call me Siggy. And for, a lot of people who don't know, I didn't play, I grew up playing music. My dad was a professional musician. So I grew up playing until I was about 14. Then I gave up music and I started playing baseball. And I had a good life with baseball. That was another world. But I didn't play music till about, it was actually 4 years ago. So I took 45 years off.
A hell of a hiatus.
Not even, hiatus, 45 years, didn't even own an instrument, did not own or nothing. And then about 4 years ago, 4 years in April, I picked up a guitar as I was waiting in a bar for one of my friends who was always late. So I went over, I said, I'm not going to stay in this bar the whole time and get wasted. It's too bad. So I went over around the corner and bought a guitar. And anyway, I didn't play for 45 years, so I got back in the scene, and I wanted spring chicken, okay? I wanted to be called Siggy the Spring Chicken, but somebody had already coined that phrase. So I said, okay, what's the next best thing? Well, I didn't play for 45 years, so maybe I'm like a fine wine.
Exactly.
So I am vintage, baby.
That's what we're going with anyway.
Vintage man.
You were talking about you were talking about how they did the nicknames back home, and with it being the vintage man, I was thinking, well, this must be one young fellow then. I wanted to talk a little bit about your experience recording in the famous studio, the Bad Animals, the Studio X.
Oh yeah.
How the hell did that come about? Tell us about that.
Well, I have one of my baseball friends I actually played against for many years. Which I'm in baseball and hardball. Anyway, and then we became teammates, and he's part owner of that studio.
Oh, he is.
And he works on the Bad Animals now. Does the movie production stuff, and then the Studio X does most of the music stuff.
Okay.
So, but they're still combined. They're combined. It's the same studio. So that's how I got in there, and boy, I tell you what, it was, I was nervous walking in that place.
I guarantee it.
The people that have recorded there, it's infamous. I mean, the list goes on of everybody that's anybody. It used to be originally owned. They set it up was the Wilson sisters from Hart, and they owned it, and then they sold it out. And but anybody that's anybody, especially in the Seattle music. I mean, I don't even know half of these people that recorded in there,
sure.
but it's a big list, and I know a lot of. Aerosmith, Alice in Chains, B.B. King, Johnny Cash, Nirvana. Yeah, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Neil Young, Mudhoney.
That is amazing.
R.E.M. The list goes on and on. So
all those amazing musicians that have walked through those doors and recorded in that building. I bet you it's just got like a nostalgic feel to it. It's just such an honor to be in there and record, I'm sure. That is so cool.
Yeah, and I had the I had I had the whiz kid Andrew Chin was my engineer. He's just a whiz kid, young guy. And then of course I had Reed Ruddy, he's the guy that's been an engineer and producer for all these bands throughout the years.
Right.
He oversaw everything, and I mean I was in very, very good hands with those people, and
You got to work with that producer?
treated me very, very well because they loved what I was doing too.
Sure.
Everybody gets a kick. Hey, this guy didn't play for all these years, and he's out here doing this stuff. Pretty much everybody gets a pretty big kick out of that.
Yes. Ready to be a rock star at your age. You're just now ready to do it. That's amazing. But you know what? You're not showing any signs of that making a difference. What do they say? You're as old as you feel.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Yep.
Is now your album 300 Steps? Now, did you record that there at Studio X?
That is correct. Yes, that was recorded in Studio X.
We got to hear that song earlier. Can you tell the listeners your inspiration for writing that song and maybe the meaning behind it?
Oh, absolutely. So I grew up in Wakefield, Rhode Island, and from my childhood home to a little tavern, which is called the Muse. It's still there. It was 300 steps, exactly 300 steps to get from my house to the Muse. Now, the Muse was built originally in the 1920s, so it was old. And throughout the years, there were different owners, and so they've stayed in business throughout all these years. And so the owners would buy it, new owners would buy it, and then they'd build around it. They kept the what's that?
No, I was saying, yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they kept the original bar and bathrooms in the middle of this place, and they built all around it. So now it's a big restaurant bar, very well known in Rhode Island.
Okay.
But they have the original bar, so that's the place where all the locals hang out. So all the guys and girls and ladies that I grew up with, they all hang out at the little bar area.
Okay. So
300 steps down, 600 back. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about, my friend.
I think the left must have been the jack, baby.
Hey, now we talked a little bit about your age and you being a spring chicken. Who were some of your musical influences growing up, and any new ones that you have today?
Oh God, I can't. It's really hard for me to. It's
Pick a
really
couple?
hard for me to put a handle on a lot of stuff. But okay, so I grew up in the 60s and the 70s.
Okay.
So I was a big Dylan fan.
Right.
I'm a big Leonard Cohen fan. As a matter of fact, all the Dylan Cohen and Townes Van Zandt, John Prime, those artists, I cover a fair amount of their music.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I liked everything and anything. But to tell you some of the stuff I'm listening to now, I just got tickets. I didn't get tickets yet. I'm getting them tomorrow. I'm gonna go see the Steel Drivers over here in a local little bar coming up, and love Dwight Yoakam. I mean, I love it. I like it all, man. I can't really put a handle on any particular thing. You know, music is.
Music is a language we all speak.
In the time and everything. I love it. I love it all. I got tickets for Queen. They're coming into town in the summer. I like it all, man. Rock and roll,
and it speaks
rap,
to you.
Classical, you name it. I like it all.
As long as it's music and it speaks to you, that's good enough. I could definitely hear the Dylan influence in 300 Steps, which is a very, very, very good thing. But let me go to my next question here for you. Okay, why music, bud? What is it about performing and writing that keeps you doing it, especially when, you could be retired and done and loafing and relaxing? Why music?
Well, first of all, I could be retired, and then I'd be down just sitting watching the TV on my computer watching porn, and I don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, not every day anyway, correct?
Not every day, yeah. Just when anyway, just when needed. But anyway, I'm a big people person. I love people, always have been. I'm the kind of guy that can walk into a bar and, like my buddy says, you walk into a bar, by the end of the night, you know everybody in that bar.
Yeah.
They're fans of the Vintage Man, you know. So I love people, and I love learning things from people. So one of the things about performing for me is being around the people. I love being around the people. I love sharing emotions with people.
Sure. Whether
talking with them or playing for them, I just love that. And you know what I mean? If it's when you start not wanting to be around people or loving people, we need a lot more love in this world, brother.
Amen, brother.
There's a lot of stuff going bad now. We need to get more love.
Amen, brother.
My job is to give love as much as I can, baby. I'm Siggie the Vintage Man, and I love to love.
And then what a way to spread the love and spread the message than with music. I mean, I think music is a language or that, you know, can anybody can understand. It's got feelings, and people can relate to your music and just really get that message out there through music. What a way to do it.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret here, so you don't let anybody know this, okay?
I ain't going to tell a soul.
You and me and everybody else that's listening.
I ain't going to tell a soul.
I sometimes, when I'm playing certain songs and I look in the audience and I see they're really digging it, I get a little emotional on the stage. As a matter of fact, I really do. I get emotional sometimes playing for the people.
Sure.
When I'm seeing that they love it, and you know, I'm playing a song that's emotional. So that's, you know, my wife always says to me, she says, nails, baby, you got to eat nails. You can't get up there and start tearing up when you're playing this music for the people.
It's hard not to.
What's that?
I said it's hard not to, especially when you see them relating to the music.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, so I love playing some of the other places I play. You know, I do a lot of farmers markets and places. You know, I played the State Fair twice last year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love, you know, I play a lot of stuff where, you know, very family oriented.
Sure.
And I love looking at the kids digging my music. I mean, it's so much fun. I mean, I love it. Yeah.
What's the music scene like now in Seattle? Has it changed much since the whole like grunge scene way back in the 90s? Is it still thriving?
The music scene is thriving. You know, Sub Pop's still here, the record label.
Okay.
And, I got here in '93, so I kind of got at the end of the grunge movement. Although people that have been involved in the grunge movement, I have a lot of acquaintances that have said that by the time I got here, the grunge movement was dead in Seattle.
Wow.
But you know, there's still. You know, it's a very vibrant music scene here in Washington in general. I mean, Seattle is jumping musically. I mean, you go down there and on the weekends, and you know, live venues all over the place. You know, it's a jumping music scene.
Good
you know,
deal. I love towns like that.
Not really. I mean, I don't. Macklemore seems to be the big happening guy here in Seattle now. They love him.
Okay.
The local.
What's his name?
Macklemore.
Okay.
Macklemore, the rapper. He's a rapper.
Okay.
Macklemore.
Rapping Macklemore. He's blowing up in Seattle.
He's blowing up in Seattle, so, but they get a lot of different type of music. You know, me, I'm Americana performer, but,
right.
You know, I like rock and roll, I like blues, just a lot of stuff going on here, you know.
Yeah, I hear the audience gets more than just you being up there singing songs. It sounds like you're really connecting with them. You're entertaining them more than just singing their songs, and I can tell that they absolutely love you, and that's why you're playing so many shows. You know what I mean? That you really do care about what you do, and you care about the audience, and it really shows. It is really refreshing to speak and deal with a musician like yourself. It really is. A lot of people.
Again, that's what I said. I'm playing for the people. I love being up there. I love the banter. I love it when the audience participation, man. I love it when they go back and forth with me, and I can give it out and I can take it. And I absolutely love that. That's the whole thing, man. That makes a fun night, you know, when all the interaction with the audience is just great. And, you know, I feed off of it. They feed off of me.
Sure.
I feed off of them. It's great. It makes for a fun night, you know. I mean, I played some places that, you know, people, you know, sit there and, you know, they couldn't care rat's ass about you.
I hate that.
But what's that?
I hate shows like that, playing shows like that. It's so hard to get through that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It makes for a long night. However, that is very rare in my shows because I will get people involved. I will get people involved one way or another.
That might motivate you. That might motivate you.
But that happens once in a while. You know. So.
Okay. Well,
anyway.
what can we expect out of the Vintage Man in the rest of 2019 and the coming years? What do you got going on?
Well, I'm about ready to. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to another studio yesterday, and I'm about ready to go in and record. I've got material for a new record.
Okay.
Recording whatever you want to call it right now these days. But I don't really have the time to get in there and get that all focused right at this particular moment.
Okay.
I'm going to probably do that, and I'm going to probably finish a new album in probably by the fall. But I am ready to go in the studio. I'm going to do one new song. It's called Good Work If You Can Get It.
Okay.
And I'm ready to record that. I got musicians lined up, and then I'm going to shoot a video, and then we're going to kick off the spring show schedule with with that video and that song. And so that's kind of what's happening this year.
Okay.
Again, I'm on pace to do 40 to 60 shows this year.
We will look forward to that. Those recordings. Some of those songs that are going to be on that album that you're working on getting going. Are any of those road tested already? Are any of them you perform already or no?
Yes, I've got a few of them I perform, yes.
Okay, so they're already road tested, and they're going to get those put onto an album. Please let us know when you get that single done. I'd love to get it on the show.
Oh yeah. It's good. I think it's great lyrics. I mean, it's basically telling people how I can play up on the stage out of tune and can't keep a beat, but people are still moving their feet because they love the Vintage Man, brother.
Yeah, they do. Can you please tell the listeners where they can find out more about you and hear more of your music?
Well, I've got a couple websites.
Okay.
It's Siggie, S-I-G-G-I-E, thevintageman.rocks, as in R-O-C-K-S, and then SiggieTheVintageMan.com. And you can always find my any information about me on either one of those websites, or you can find me on Reverb Nation,
Okay.
or you can hear my music on iHeartRadio, Amazon. You can buy my music at Amazon, iTunes. I'm on Spotify. I'm on everything, for crying out loud.
Okay.
I'm on so much shit. I mean, you know what? I was going through the TV the other day, listening to some music channels, and for crying out loud, I found myself on some stuff I didn't even know I was on.
You got to be kidding me. That's
No,
hilarious. I didn't know I was
Deezer,
on that.
Deezer. I was on Deezer. I found myself on Deezer. That was pretty funny.
That is funny. It's like, wait a minute. Deezer's making all the... Where's my check? No. But no, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen...
so I'm on Amazon, Google Play, Deezer, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube. I'm on all that stuff.
Okay,
So.
and to make it easy for the listeners, I'm going to be leaving all the links he talked about, all the links to where you can buy his music, all the links where you can just find out more about the man in the episode description down low to make it easy for you guys to get to. Please go check him out. Show him some support. Let him know you heard him here on The Next Big Thing. And Siggie the Vintage Man, thank you so much for joining us.
I got one thing to say.
Please do it.
One thing to say. Hey, folks, be a fan of the Vintage Man. Yeah, baby.
All right, guys, so that was Siggie the Vintage Man. All of his links are going to be in the episode description down low. Make sure you go check him out. Let him know you heard him here. Show him some support. His whole album is amazing. He is a fun man. You're going to love the rest of his music. Go check him out. But I think that's going to about wrap it up for this week, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out with me for a while. I look forward to next week when together we find the next big thing. See you guys.